Welcome back to Tommyknocker. I'm Tommyknocker.
I'm Keto Chris.
And what you're looking at now is we have done our...
Last video you saw, we did both conventional brine and keto brine. What we got in here now is all our beautiful meats that we're going to be loading the smoker up with today. Tom's got a trick in here, especially for whole birds and bigger chunks and stuff. I'll let him go over his tip here.
What you need to remember, the reason for the tip is really important. The reason for the tip is that you need to make sure that your meats maintain, they have to be submerged during the entire brining process. It does cut back on bacterial counts, and it does actually mean that you're going to get a proper brine throughout all of the meat. Like, you don't want the breasts of a chicken or a turkey floating above the level of your brine solution. You want them submerged. So what I've done, what Keto Chris and I have done, is I've taken a bowl of cold water and I've simply put it on top of the meats that are in my brine solution.
So now this isn't brine water in the top. Mine got a little mixed from when we were moving them over. They just got shook up. But yeah, it's just tap water and displacement. You can actually even put the bowl in empty, kind of hold it with one hand and just pour in until it submerges your meats.
That's a really good practical point. Because sometimes your brine bucket is so narrow you can't get your both hands in, and you want to make sure, so you can put it in empty, you can ladle it in, so this is really an important thing to remember. If it's not submerged based on the mass that you're putting in there based on its own nature, put bowls of ice cold water on it.
You could even fill the bowl with a bit of ice cubes and whatnot in it too.
Absolutely.
You know, we're up in cold Canada, so this time of year we can you know, leave it in the attached garage. It's rating +2, +3 at the warmest. You know, sometimes you just gotta watch it doesn't get too cold. Or again, we've got fridges that we got the racks pulled out to take these types of large containers and that kind of stuff.
What we're going to do now is take the pork chops out of the brine, and then we're going to be applying our pork and fish rub, and I'll be doing the conventional full sugar, full sodium pork and fish rub. Chris will be doing the keto version. I'm going to pat mine dry. Obviously that's a very level platter. These have been in the brine for 2 hours. I wouldn't suggest going much longer than that. They're relatively thin, but they do turn out beautifully. Once smoked, I'll saute these in butter, and that's as simple as it gets, because they're a fantastic breakfast food. There's another interesting recipe called Kessler, sometimes known as Bubble and Squeak, and we will have that in another section of our video library, our videography, so that you can have a chance to do secondary dishes. It's one thing just to have this sitting on a plate with mashed potatoes and a salad on the side, but if you can do something with it as far as uniqueness of dishes, the smoked pork chops are an absolutely wonderful meat to be working with. I'm going to put some of the pork and fish rub on.
I'm just gonna get these dry.
Pat that in a little bit, flip it over. Pat that in, flip it over, and put that on rather liberally.
That's all it is.
This is it. These are now ready for the altar. Ha! Nice lady.
Just one more here. So same thing, just make sure you got them nice pat dry.
I want to mark those as either keto or otherwise. So these are regular. Chris's keto version don't have any toothpicks. Okay.
So I'm actually just gonna do this. So same thing, liberal coat. Simple as that. Dust it on. Pat it in just so that when you flip it over it doesn't all fall off.
Don't be conservative with your application, liberal. And that's probably a timely thing for me to be saying. Don't take it the wrong way.
No political affiliation.
Oh no, and depending on which border you're on, I mean, liberal and conservative have different meanings north and south.
This is true. This is true.
Okay, those are regular, those are keto. Let's go to the smoker. See you back in a bit. We are back at the smoker. It's 250 degrees Fahrenheit. One of my favorite temperature zones, 235 to 265. 265 might be pushing it, but 250 is a beautiful temperature. Remember, looking ain't cooking, but we're not looking, we're cooking. So in go the regular seasoned pork and fish rub.
If you remember me saying earlier, don't waste that smoke space. We're just gonna fill up this grill here a little bit. We still got a couple of fillets that we're gonna hopefully get in there here shortly, and away we go. We'll get that lid closed right away to make sure we maintain that temperature. And we're at our first 30-minute mark, and time for another mitt full to go on at the same time.
Very good.
I'll bring you in here a little bit for this. Oh,
You don't necessarily want to have open flame like that. I'm
no.
gonna
Douse that. You want that smoke, no flame. So we might just have a little bit too much airflow going in there. We'll damp it down and control that heat, control that burn. We'll be back shortly, guys.
Hi folks, we've now pulled the brined pork chops and brined steelhead trout fillets off the smoker.
This smells amazing. These came out beautifully. If you can see, yeah, exactly.
Like I got props here. I can prop them up so you can see what the side that was on the grill looks like.
This fillet kind of broke apart a little bit. It had a little sticky onto the grill, but smells amazing. I can't wait until we get to tap into these here shortly. Again, you saw the video all the way through. It's very, very simple. You make your brine, stick it in for a couple hours, pull it out, sprinkle some magic Tommyknocker dust on there, and away you go. Both of these have the same seasoning. They do not come by the same flavor. When you taste the pork chop, it tastes distinctly different than the fish. Even though it is the exact same pork and fish rub, absolutely amazing.
Now, I would think what I would do from here is if I'm not ready to have this right now this evening as supper, like if I'm not going to make Kessler, or if I'm not going to make Bubble and Squeak, or if I'm not going to throw it in a pan full of butter and have breakfast, I would put this into a at the very least a Ziploc freezer bag, but probably into a vacuum pack, label it, put it in the freezer for later use. They do freeze really well. And remember, smoking does have an effect of doing some preserving for you, but don't abuse it. Recognize you must refrigerate properly, and you must take care of your food, proper food handling, no cross contaminations, always washing, rubber gloves, always, and keep yourself safe, keep your food safe, keep your guests safe as well. And I think this is a wrap because I gotta eat. I'm gonna have some. I'm gonna eat right now.
This is what happens when you get great spices, right?
As we all know, great spices are always in season.
That's right, folks. Great spices never go out of season.
Great spices are always in season.
That's what I said. Great spices never go out of season.
No, you did a double negative. Not quite a double negative, but you can't do the not ever or whatever. It's always in season.
Listen to these old people just complain.
When it's right, right? Great spices are always in season. That's what it says.
Till next time, folks.
Thank you. Have a good night.